that was different. Big up, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for joining us yet again, guys, on an afternoon show. We're going to be talking about Palhinha, why he should become a Liverpool player. We're going to talk about why it's the right thing, not Liverpool, not to go after Andre at Fluminense. We're going to talk about defensive options and Liverpool coming back. International break is over. Join me to talk about all these beautiful subjects today. We've got K-Mac. K-Mac, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Hope you're well. Hope the chat are well. Lots and lots of amazing performances by our players on international duty.
Yeah, Darwin Núñez, man. He's the top goal scorer in South American World Cup qualifying right now. I'm going to say one thing about Darwin Núñez right now. If you had to buy him today, it cost you 100 million. Just saying it.
Yep.
£100 million player, man. Big up Storm and T. Big up Jerry James. Jerry, how you doing, man? It's been a while, Jerry. Hope you're doing well, my friend.
Big up, Jerry.
We'll have to do something soon, Jerry. Hope you're doing well, man. Bizzle in the house, Colin in the house, Honesty in the house.
Jerry's the reason why I got onto YouTube.
Oh, there you go. What did you get annoyed at one of Jerry's things? Is that
I was loving his stuff. I was loving his stuff, and you as well, mate. To be fair,
I love Jerry. Jerry's a great guy. Big up, Joe. If you're watching, man, still. Sort of places with you, -32 here. Yeah, big up to everyone in the chat. Hope you're all doing well. Yeah, Darwin's doing bits, man. I'm telling you, £100 million player if you're buying him today. £100 million player. Big up Honesty in the chat as well. Big up Alexander, my man.
I think we've only paid 63 for him so far.
Yeah,
he's not hit any of the He's not hit any of the any of the extras.
He's a player, man. He's getting better and better.
Yeah.
Big up my man there. G-Box, so how you doing, man? Sorry, kept you waiting, my friend. So, yeah, Darwin is just. I'm going to talk about Darwin later. Right, let's get on this. So, this news about Andre came out today. I think he's in Neil Kinsella. I think said today that it looks like Liverpool are no longer interested in Andre, and they've moved on from the transfer, and he looks like he's going to Fulham because I believe Fulham had representation talking to him last week over in Brazil. They look like they're going for him. Obviously, with this, Liverpool fans on Twitter and everywhere else around the world are like, it's the end of the world. You know, they've never watched him play, but it's the end of the world. Why are we doing this? How can we do this? You get some sensible Liverpool fans in comments going, it makes sense because he's actually not a number 6. For me, it makes sense for us not to pursue a player I don't think we actually need right now, and move on to other targets. K-Mac, I don't know what you feel about this. I just feel like I've been saying it for a while. I don't think Liverpool viewed him as an out-and-out 6. I think they viewed him as an 8 that can play off the left-hand side. That's why they went and got Gravenberch late in the transfer window, because that's the plan B. I think Andre was plan A. They moved on, got on Gravenberch, so they learnt their lessons. He's just not a number 6 they're looking for. And I've been saying it for a while now as well. And I said this to Cal last night on the UFC show and it's starting to look like it, that Alexis McAllister might be Klopp's DM, you know.
Take a deep breath. wait for the internet to crash. No, I think it's a good choice not going for Andre. Look, at the end of the day, where's he gonna fit? Where's he gonna fit? Are you gonna move Curtis Jones out? Are you gonna stop playing Harvey Elliott? Like, you know, Stefan Bajcetic is about. Like, where's he gonna fit? Like, we've barely only got enough room to get Gravenberch in at the moment. Like, and we need to play him because he's been brilliant. So there's all these players that are great and are in form. Where do they fit? And then you're going to throw another player into the mix. Like, I don't think we need him. Like, Wataru Endo's not actually getting as many games as he should. So, I think we've got enough in midfield. I know we've had a bit of a midfield crisis over the last week or so because Gravenberch and Curtis Jones got injured, and also Stefan Bajcetic and Thiago are still out. But I don't think we've got any issues there. We can also play Gapco in there as well, who's not bad. He's not been bad in there, so I don't think we need him.
No,
I think there's other areas that we could do with players.
yeah, I agree.
We know what areas they are.
I
Left
agree.
back, definitely.
Yes, definitely. I think Liverpool. I think Klopp's got. By the look of it, by the look of what Liverpool are trying to do, it actually looks like for the first time in a while, Klopp and the transfer committee do have a plan, and they're not.
It looks like we've got a transfer committee.
Yeah, it looks like they've actually got a plan on how they're doing transfers going forward now. You know, they went and got the midfielders they went and got this summer. There was ones they were interested in that they couldn't get in. I do believe if Andre decided that he wanted to join Liverpool in the summer, he would have joined. I
Yeah,
do
we just
think
wouldn't have got Gravenberch.
Yeah, we would have got Gravenberch. And at the moment, I watched Gravenberch before because he's a European player, so he's easier to watch. And I know what a player is. So I'm happy with the Gravenberch signing. For me, he's probably a better player. But I know people want this Andre guy because he thinks he's like a Thiago-like player. And Liverpool fans are obsessed with Thiago. And I don't really get it personally, but they're absolutely obsessed by Thiago. And they think Andre's that similar kind of player. He's not. I think people would be disappointed if we got him in and he played the number 6. I think people would be disappointed because he's not. He's not that. He's not that player, and I like the fact Liverpool decide. No, you know what? You know, let Fulham have him. We've got other priorities now, and we've got McAllister in there. Here's a question came out. The longer you see McAllister playing the 6 role, do you have a feeling that Klopp likes him there?
I mean, he's a necessity right now. We need to be playing someone in that role. Like if it's not him, then it's Endo, because that role is a really important role for us. And I just don't see him as our 6. I just don't see him as a 6. I can see him regressing. I can see him losing confidence. I don't want to take away what he does for Argentina and what he did for Brighton, what made him the player that we signed, to then go into a role which takes away those skill sets. You know, you look how good he is for Argentina. Like, you know, he's absolutely sensational. Like he's the linchpin in the team, which makes the team tick and gives Messi the ball. You know, even Messi picked him out like as one of the star performers for the World Cup. And he said that we couldn't have won the World Cup without him. So we went and signed him, and we got him really cheap, I think. But if you're going to play him in that role, you're taking away all of his, you know, his strong points in what he does in games. He's not a tackler. I don't think he's got the awareness around him to see players who are going to mark him out of the game. I don't think he's got the pace. You know, you need to push him a bit further forward on the left, which will help the team. You know, we're going to talk about Palhinha, who I think is absolutely sensational. You know, if he's going to play him, then he's going to play him probably until we get this guy, whoever this guy is. But I don't think he's going to be the 6, mate. I can't see it. I'm going to have an heart attack if he is.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Do you know what? It'd be interesting in January or next summer if Liverpool buy another midfielder that isn't a DM. I think that then tells us.
Then that proves it, doesn't it?
That tells us everything. If Liverpool buy a midfielder in January or next summer that isn't a defensive midfielder, then I think that tells us everything that Klopp and the team might think of the players we got available right now. But here's a question I'll ask you. Does Klopp actually like and prefer good footballers coming through the youth academy and not blocking their path? Because if you look at some of the young players that have come through, say you look at Trent, he never really bought a right back ever that's good enough to rival Trent at right back. He still don't really want who he wants Trent at right back. He doesn't really want to play him in midfield like the rest of the world does. He wants him at right back. He won't buy anyone to replace him there. Even with his defensive liabilities at times that even Klopp admits. You still won't put anyone else there. You got Gerald Kwanzaa coming through now, who we all rate, and it looks like Liverpool. It might have changed Liverpool's mind in what they do in the transfer market for a centre back. I think they were looking more at fullbacks in the summer instead of centre backs now because of Kwanzaa. If Matip leaves, then they'll probably get a Matip replacement, but they don't want to block Kwanzaa's path. And the way he's playing at the moment, he's going to be in the squads for years to come, in my opinion. So, and the other reason I'm saying this as well, because he's got to come back from his injury yet, but there's a young lad who does play DM for Liverpool, Stefan Bajcetic, and Klopp rates this guy, and he talks about him a lot. Does Klopp see Stefan as the future DM for Liverpool for the next few years? And that is why we're not going after people like Andre, and we're not really linked with any DMs really in the market. Do you think that might be the reason?
Look, I personally think that the whole Fabinho moving was a shock to the system, and I think we were going to play Stefan Bajcetic as, you know, or even the Lavia, or even, you know, a player we were going to get in that we were going to play alongside him, and he could get up to speed, and then we could bring him in, and then obviously Fabinho could leave the following year, and I think that was always the plan. We have to also remember we've still got Tyler Morton, who's a very, very good player in his right, and when I've seen him play for Liverpool, he's been good. And he's only 21 as well. So you've got him and Stefan Bajcetic. Look, the Gerald Kwanzaa thing as well. I think we have to not get too carried away. He's still only a 20-year-old kid. Like, we can't be throwing him into the deep end and expecting him to be a great swimmer. Like, he's gonna have some bad games. It is gonna happen, and it's how it affects him. But I think he's got the type of character that where he can kind of brush it off, and he's not like a Gomez or a Shimikas, where if he has a bad game, then he just spirals out of control and ends up having a couple of bad games. The whole thing with Trent as well is everybody's talking about, you know, Trent being this midfielder or this defensive midfielder. The games that he's played for England, he's played against Uber drivers. You know what I mean? He hasn't played against any good teams in that role yet. Until he plays against France or someone like that, I'm not judging how well he does for England yet, because he's played against Malta and Macedonia and San Marino.
I agree with that.
Seriously, they're not great teams.
I do agree. I agree with what you're saying there. I do. But he outshines everyone else in midfield apart from.
I agree with you there, but it's not actually hard to outshine an England midfield, is it?
But you got. But do you know what? It's so much of Trent's ability. See, in my opinion, if it was me, big up Wino. We'll get to that comment in a minute, mate. I'll star it, and me and K-Mac will talk about that in a minute. Big up Wino. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well, man. Big up Wiggs in the chat, John in the chat, and Mickey M. Keegan, Asher, hope you're doing well, guys. See, I want McAllister to get out the number 6 position. I really do. We all do. We want to see him on the left of the midfield 3. That's where he should be playing. But right now,
I'm not bothered.
Yeah, right now, I'd say Curtis Jones deserves to play on the left-hand side of the midfield 3. I'm going to get Curtis Jones. Actually, let me pause the Curtis Jones thing, because I want to have a little debate about Curtis Jones later in the video, because it's getting stupid the way people talk about him in a horrible manner, in my opinion. Let's say Gravenberch on that left-hand side. Gravenberch, I like what he does on that left-hand side. So I don't know if McAllister gets in there right now. Personally, I don't know what I'd play Trent DM. I'd play Trent as DM.
I would as well.
I'd play Trent.
I would as well, seriously.
I'd play Trent in the 6. Then, if you want to go a bit more defensive minded, you can play Trent in the 6 and McAllister on the left and Szoboszlai on the right. and that's a better defensive unit. If you want to just go out all out attacking against low blocks, play Trent in the 6 and play Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, where they get just bombing forward constantly and Trent just keeps the ball moving against low blocks. It's one thing I think Liverpool need to look at, because there's definitely, I don't know what it is about this 6th position. I think us fans are worried about it. I think Klopp's kind of cool on it. I don't think he's as concerned as we are. I think he looks at it and thinks, right, if I look at the stats, if Klopp goes by stats for a DM, McAllister ain't actually been that bad, stats-wise, in that position. Then he does what Klopp wants him to do on the ball. And then he'll look at it and think, I've got Stefano absolutely right. Once this kid's back, I'm going to start playing in defensive midfield. Then I can play. Then I'm playing Trent inverted anyway. And I think you said this a few times, Kanga. Do we need that out and out destroyer if Trent's going inverted? Because that gives you a double pivot in midfield anyway, and you're playing that box midfield. And if you listen to what Klopp wants, he wants total possession and control in that area of the pitch. So are us fans worrying about it more than the manager, do you reckon?
I don't think the manager really worries anyway, to be honest. He always seems like he's in control. He's never been a flapper, has he, really? The interesting thing about it is you just said we should play Trent as the DM. He's already there. like he's literally taking the ball off the DM all the time. So what does the DM actually do? Like, they're both stood next to each other most of the game. So you might as well just have him there anyway. And then we've got someone as a right back cover, because at the moment we don't have any right back cover in any of the games. And you have our centre back having to cover for the right back. And then you have the left side of centre back having to cover for the right side of centre back, and vice versa. And then the whole the whole team is lopsided. And that's how we end up getting broke on. And if you're playing low block, it makes sense to have a controller in the middle of the pitch. And if the controller's Trent, then that's perfect, because he can play balls anywhere on the pitch and his accuracy is insane. And he loves a Hollywood pass. Like, we just watched him for England. He loves a Hollywood pass. It makes perfect sense. And you talked about playing Trent. Like, I was all for, let's play Trent in the Europa League games against those lower opposition. Just play him all of the Europa League, and there's your trial. There's your blueprint. You're using him in those games as the DM against those teams, and then you can see whether you're going to beat low blocks, because that's all they've done is low blocks. All of those teams, apart from Toulouse, who just bloody went crazy against us, like pressed us to death. So, and the fact, if we win the next game, or if we go 2 or 3 up in that game at home, then just play Trent for those 2 games, because there's nothing to lose. Do you get it? To lose? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like, see, I'm not. A lot of people are going to be really fussed about us getting Andre. I'm not, because he's not a DM.
Nah,
he's a number 8, and we got number 8s now.
Don't want to block the path. Don't want to block the path for any midfielders.
No, exactly. We got number 8s, and Harvey Elliott is good off the bench. Curtis Jones is either good off the bench or starting. Then you got Gravenberch around there, Szoboszlai, McAllister. You got Wataru Endo. Probably should be playing DM, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you got players there, so we need to
Trent.
move on. And Trent, look. In your opinion, is Trent involved now from a right back to a midfielder?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say 80% of games, Trent's in midfield now. He really is. Like, he's a controller. He gets more of the ball than anyone else. He has more touches in most of the games than the opposition at the moment, unless we're playing like Man City or Arsenal, or Brighton, because they have a lot of possession. He controls so much. Like most of the balls that go to Salah now are either from Trent or from Mac or Virgil van Dijk. Like then most of the balls that go to Salah now, if you're watching the games, and obviously he gets a few touches from Nunes, but they're most of the balls. I just feel like if we're not going to use him down the right, where he's really, really effective, and he's got like all of his assists, he's got an incredible amount of assists, like probably over 50 assists in the league from the right, then use him in the midfield, use him in the centre. So you might as well play him as a DM. It just makes sense. Like, and just play a right back.
Yeah,
like I can't be having all of this chopping and changing in games. It's just, it still feels disjointed, and I don't think McAllister can deal with that either. Like he needs to have a set position.
I mean, if you look at Trent's interviews, he says he watches a lot of midfielders now. He wants to be in midfield. That's where he wants to play. He studies midfielders. He doesn't study right back.
Why are you playing him as an international manager? Why are you playing a player out of position? Like if you're not confident in that player playing that position.
See, I think
what he's doing. He's playing him out of a position. If you think he's a right back for Liverpool,
I think Trent goes to Euros as a midfielder.
I think he will.
I don't, because there's rumours at the moment that Reece James won't go to the Euros. Right, there's a lot of rumours that Southgate ain't going to take Reece James to the Euros because he's looking at Trippier and Walker as his two right backs, and then I think he's looking at Trent as a midfielder at Euros, which would be, you know, Trent starts in the. I mean, Rice. I mean, England could have a midfielder like Rice, Bellingham, Trent, or Rice, Bellingham, and Foden. It's an exceptional midfield, whatever three they pick, you know. But then they got the Royal manager in charge.
Well, the best way I can describe the manager, I was going to do a show on this because I'm just fed up. I'm really fed up with this now. Is an ordinary manager, an exceptional team. That's all he is.
Yeah. England
He's basically got the team playing for him.
England arguably have the best squad in the world.
They've got an incredible squad.
It's
like
arguable.
The 21s are scary.
It's very arguable that England had the best international squad in the world. It's very. You know, people might say France, and I agree. France got a tremendous squad as well. They're the two for me. France and England are probably the two best squads in international football, but you know, not going to win anything. England should win the Euros, in my opinion. I don't understand why England couldn't win the Euros. You know,
what I can't get my head around is how have we got the best on form forward in the world right now? Like he is literally 90% of his chances he's putting in the back of the net, in Harry Kane, and all he's getting are scraps. All he's getting is scraps off England. Literally, he lives off scraps for England. It is incredible how we are not putting like 20 chances on a plate for him. He is so good in the box at scoring goals. Like, just watch Bayern Munich. Just watch Bayern Munich. England have got that much attacking talent as Bayern Munich have. And we still arse around at the back with Maguire and whoever was with him. Like, just passing it back sideways. It is just... My God. We could do a whole show on that, mate. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, Harry Kane's the best. Harry Kane's the best striker in the world for me.
Oh my God, he's phenomenal.
He's better than Hazard. I'm sorry. Jake Kismet, how you doing, my friend? He says Andre floats in front of the defence and sprays balls. It's exactly what we need. I agree, but Trent can do that as well. Also, if you go to do that, then you need to play a double pivot, in which is the reason I don't think we're going after someone like Andre. Because if we're playing a double pivot, you wouldn't play Trent and Andre together. So and Klopp wants this inverted role, and Trent plays the inverted role, and Klopp thinks he's the best in the world at it. So Klopp ain't going away from that. Trent's the man to do that. So you ain't going to buy Andre to take Trent's spot doing that. So And Klopp don't want to play a double pivot. He doesn't want to play 4-2-3-1. He said this so many times. He doesn't really want to play that because it's hard. Because the counter pressing, his number 10. He said it so many times. So to play Andre, and I agree with Andre Kismet, but for Andre to do that role, you need a destroyer next to him, like Thiago at Bayern Munich. You know, that's the same sort of thing he did. Pirlo for Juventus. You know, he needed the DM next to him to allow him the space to do that sort of stuff. And we're not going to play with double pivot. So if you're not going to do that, you're going to keep one player inverted. It's always going to be Trent. Then Trent is the reason, you know, Trent's probably the reason we're not buying Andre for that position. Because Klopp wants him inverted. It's the way we're playing now. We're playing for box formation. Klopp wants total control of the midfield. And he feels he gets that better if we play an inverted Trent. So unless he changed the way he wants to play, which I don't see it ever happening, then, you know, you look at Szoboszlai play right now, he just looks like a far better Jordan Henderson. It's not a dig. I'm not digging Szoboszlai out, but the way he plays for Hungary and the way he plays for Liverpool, he's just playing the Jordan Henderson role. He's playing the Jordan Henderson role. He's playing box to box on the right-hand side, but he's just got far more quality. You know, it's just the way we're doing things right now. And, you know, whoever plays on the left-hand side is the ball protector, like Kajini. So that's why Curtis plays there, because he's the most like it. You know, it's the way Klopp wants to play. Now, I agree with Jay Kismet. I'd like Andre to play that role and you play a double pivot, but it's never... It's never going to happen. Yeah, Portugal have a good one as well. That is very, very true. Big up Mac LFC. I saw your comment about the stuff I've starred yet. We'll talk about it in a bit, my friend. We'll definitely make a comment on that. Big up Albert in the chat as well.
Big up Albert. I mean, if you want a player that's going to do what Andre does, you've got Curtis Jones. Like Curtis Jones has got possession of 93% plus, like since he's been in the Liverpool team. Like the ball sticks to him like glue.
Albert's coming from here. If you've actually seen Andre play in any match, especially the Copa final yesterday, how can you say we shouldn't get him? Because we have Trent, my friend, and he's not an out-and-out DM. He got battered against Argentina. You know, he's not an out-and-out DM, and I don't think Liverpool see him as a DM either. That's what I'm trying to say, Albert. I'm not saying you're wrong, my friend. I'm saying Klopp don't and Liverpool don't. They see him as more of a left-sided midfielder, a number 8. That's how they see him. That's why they got McAllister late in the transfer window. They didn't want him for that position. And I agree with you, but for me, Andre is probably more of a deeper lining midfielder in the 8-6 role, but he's not an out-and-out 6. Where I'd like to see Andre, and I've said this many times on my show, buy a DM, have Andre next to him. You know, and Andre does that sort of Thiago role that he did at Bayern Munich, where he has that freedom in a deeper position to control the game, spray balls about, influence the game from there, and then you got that destroyer next to him. Perfect. But that's what Trent Alexander-Arnold does for Liverpool. And Trent's got to always be inverted now. So if Trent's inverted, he's doing the Andre role that you're asking him to do. Do you know what I mean? So I'm with you, Lo. I'm not saying you're wrong. Yeah, we're going to chat about it, Mac. We're going to chat about it. Don't worry, man. I've already starred your comment, my man. I've seen it. Wig says we'll buy right back over a DM, I think.
I don't know. I don't know about the right back. I think he's more than happy with Gomez. And the fact that he's tried Kwanzaa there as well is interesting.
And
also Curtis Jones has played right back, the inverted right back, and he was really good. Like really good at it. It's an interesting one. I think left back's an issue for me.
Yeah, left back's definitely an issue. Big up, Albert. No worries, man. It's all good, Albert. It's all love you. Seen a lot of people say this as well. I think Jones could do the defensive role, but it seems to have Liverpool curse anyways, picking up little injuries, turning to weeks. That's big up, my man. I don't know if you're new around here, Salvatore. Big up to you. Thiago. We'll talk about Thiago in a bit. Andre right there's a low grade Thiago. I've only seen. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I've watched Andre loads. I've watched him here and there. You know, especially being in the UK, I know Albert's out in America, so kickoff times are probably easier for him to watch and watch an Andre. But for us over here, I think it's 2 a.m. So it's
mate. The team he plays with, Fluminense, they play absolute bonkers football.
Ain't the manager of Fluminense now the Brazilian coach?
Yeah.
And
Brazil, they play absolutely mental football, mate. It's crazy.
And Brazil look terrible.
Yeah, and he's playing in midfield as well, by the way, with Casemiro.
Yeah, well, Casemiro's dead, ain't he? I can't blame Andre for all that. Casemiro is not the player he was. But yeah, I don't. It'd be interesting to see what Liverpool do as a summer or a January midfield option. Because if they do buy a midfielder that's not a defensive midfielder, the world, first of all, Liverpool fans are going to meltdown. Secondly, it will tell you everything you need to know. Like K-Max says, that Klopp sees certain players doing certain roles at this club. You know, I've said it for a while now, and I'll keep saying it. If McAllister's fit, he's the only real midfielder in our squad who plays DM right now. And there's a reason behind it. Because for me, you could easily put Gravenberch there. You know, you couldn't really put Szoboszlai there, but you could put Gravenberch there. You could play Endo there. You can play McAllister there. You know, I think you could play Curtis Jones there. You know, you could play Trent there. The only player who's playing there is McAllister. There's something Klopp sees that we might not, that he thinks he can mould McAllister into more of a defensive-minded midfielder. It was exactly the same about Gini Wijnaldum. Now, Gini Wijnaldum's more of an attacking-minded midfielder for Feyenoord, for Newcastle, the Dutch national side. He's more of that attacking-minded player who also can play off the left-hand side. You know, he's got that in his game, like arriving in the box late, grabbing goals, shooting from distance, getting in the thick of things and that. But Liverpool made him a more restricted midfielder, didn't they? They made him more restricted. It wasn't about him getting in the box, getting goals. It's about him controlling midfield. It's about him protecting the ball, allowing the team to push up in counter positions, getting ready for the counter press, ball protecting, defensive work, and good passing ability. And that's what McAllister reminds me of at Liverpool. He's restricting McAllister a little bit because he sees something in McAllister's game that will help the system that Klopp wants to play. He feels like McAllister can protect the ball, keep the ball, control the tempo, and pass the ball well. So with that, he thinks if he can do that part of the game, it will help the whole team. Remember, Klopp don't look at a certain player. He looks at the structure and the system of the team. And if he thinks players can do it, and he takes them out of positions that are natural to him, but molds them into that to help the team and to push the team on, to help the system, then it works. And I don't know about you, K-Mac, but that's what it looks like. It's what's happening to me.
I mean, Jenny played as a left winger for Newcastle when he scored like 16 goals in the season before we bought him. But he kind of molded him into, he wasn't a box to box because he didn't get in the box as much as he probably should have. He was just more of a not even deep line playmaker. He was just like a central midfielder that just didn't really cross into the opposition's half as much as he should have. I mean, would you say McAllister, if he's not playing as a DM, would you say he's a deep line playmaker? Because for me, it's Trent. Like Trent does that.
For me, it's Trent as well. But I think Klopp's looking at it and thinking, if I got McAllister there and I got Trent inverted.
So what does he do then? Because he's not a DM because he doesn't He doesn't break up the play. He doesn't win enough tackles. He's not a
My,
destroyer.
my only opinion
What is he then?
that Klopp weren't looking for that. Klopp might not be. I don't know what Klopp's. This is the thing. None of us know what he's looking for because he was after Lavia in the summer. Look, the DM that Klopp wanted in the summer was Lavia. I know we had the Casado bid, but if everyone remembers, that was Billy Hogan.
They're both DMs.
Doing that on his own. But Lavia was... See, Lavia... And if you look at the difference between Lavia and Casado as well, Lavia could easily play in the 8.
Yeah.
Lavia's got ability where he can go a bit further forward and do a bit more with the ball. And, you know, you could put him in a number 8 easy and he wouldn't look out of position and stuff like that. He's got quality. Where Casado's more of your rock solid number 6. That's what he is. Can't really play anywhere else. He's your number 6. He's a destroyer. Where Lavia is not really that. He can play. He can get a bit further forward.
Multifunctional.
So if we're looking at what Klopp wanted as a number 6, you're looking at people like Lavia's and stuff like that are more, as you say, multifunctional number 6s, where they're not destroyers. They're footballers. They can get the ball. They can play. They got an eye for a pass. They can cut through the lines and progress with the ball. And they could go for a little dribble if they need to and come out of position, and they're not too bad.
So he's still injured.
Yeah,
and just wrote.
So is that what Klopp's looking for, K-Mate? Is he looking for this, or is he actually looking for that more nuanced number 6 where he's not actually a destroyer, but he can defend a bit, he can play a bit, he can play with the ball, he can move, progress to the ball, cut the lines, all that sort of stuff.
That's what it looks like. It looks like all 3. It looks like he's looking for someone who can do all 3. Unfortunately, I would say 2 of ours that are in there can't do the third one, which is the tackling and the destroying bit, which needs to happen. And if you're not going to play like a player who does that as a trait, then that side of the game's going to get lost, which I feel like it has. Like I feel like too many of those duels haven't been won. I'd say the best person who's done that is probably Endo when he's played, because he's the only player in the team who sits in the midfield who naturally gravitates to that role, because that's what he's been doing. That's what he does for Japan. That's what he did for Stuttgart. So I kind of, it's a natural thing for him, and that's what we talk about if we put Trent there. I would say defending's quite natural for Trent as well, like tracking back and tackling. He wins a lot of duels, by the way, Trent. We may slate some of his defending, but most of it is just because he's out of position, because he's in another position and he's got to track into that position. That's the reason why.
Trent's one-on-one defending is actually very good.
He's good.
I think he's got the highest stats for one-on-one.
His recoveries and interceptions are really good as well, by the way, considering the fact that he is literally always tracking back.
It's what it is with Trent is that it's like he has brain farts. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it's like he has brain farts sometimes when he plays right back, because everything else comes very easy to him in the game, and he's always thinking about the forward pass. I think Trent thinks about the forward pass before the defensive action. And because he thinks like that, that's why sometimes, like you say, he's caught out of position. The ball goes over his head because he's trying to get himself in an attacking position instead of a defensive position. But when you go one-on-one with Trent, you go one-on-one with Trent, the only real person that's ever really cooked Trent that much is probably Martinelli. There ain't a lot of wingers that are really...
I think Rashford's had him a few times.
Yeah, Rashford.
I think that's just long balls, though.
Yeah, because that's long balls with pace, ain't it? Yeah. In behind. I've seen Rashford do that to a lot of right backs. But, his one-on-one defending is actually pretty decent.
He's been cooked by Neto, by the way, a few times.
Yeah, but Neto cuts everyone when he's on form. Let's be fair there, you know what I mean?
He does. The thing about it as well is that fair? Like, is that fair to have a player have that many responsibilities and to be forward thinking like that, and also having to defend? Like, Virgil van Dijk doesn't have to do that. Like, you know, other players at the back don't have to do that. So why do we have to burden him with so much responsibility like that? Like, surely just putting him in the defensive midfield role, then it's a case of you just cover this area and then you just create. That's your job, mate. Like, don't worry about right back. That's we've got a guy there. You know, we've got Gomez there doing that. Like, you can forget about that now. I just feel like we need to make a stand soon. Like, it needs to happen or it just doesn't happen. And then we just have to get on with it, you know?
Yeah.
Can't do both.
Yeah, Trent's got to. I think what Klopp's got to do with Trent is just decide what eventually is going to be his position. Just keep him there because
look, if you think about this, look, if Trent was just a right back, yeah, and everything was cool and he was just there doing his job, and then we decided to do this crazy thing with Robbo, we'd be having the same conversation. It's not as severe because Trent is so talented that he can do both at a pretty high level. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Sure, like, you'd be having this conversation, and we'd be looking at Virgil van Dijk going, God, this guy's all over the place. Like, and he'd probably have more injuries because he'd be having to do two roles. So it's just like,
let's put it this way.
It's hard to explain, mate.
Let's put it this way. If Trent was available on the Trent, then Liverpool decided they had enough and just put in Trent. Something happened behind the scenes, and Liverpool had no choice. But we got to put Trent on the transfer list. And on January the 1st, he's available to any team in world football. Real Madrid come calling for him.
Absolutely.
You know, he's too good. You know,
I think Man City would take him to replace Walker.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the way he plays with the ball, Pep would love Trent. The way he plays with the ball, Jesus Christ. And, you know, and the way City play, Trent won't get exposed. You know, look at Rico Lewis doing it at City. He's a really good player, yeah? And he's not getting exposed because of the way City play. You put Rico Lewis with his same ability in Liverpool's team, he'll get exposed because of the way we play. It's a totally different way of playing. Trent would cook at City, like, at an unbelievable rate. It'd be mad. But yeah, this number 6 position, it's going to keep going on and on and on. Personally, I think Liverpool have done the right thing not going for Andre if that's their decision, and getting more defensive options that are proper defensive options. So going on to that, Palhinha. If Liverpool want a proper defensive option, and they're going, stuff it now, let's change it, let's just get a destroyer and let McAllister, Szoboszlai, Curtis, Harvey, and whoever else is playing in midfield, just let them cook, let them get in there, they're playing their positions, their natural positions, let them do what they want to do. We've got a destroyer there, we'll just keep everything at bay. Then Palhinha is probably Liverpool's main man to go and get. Now, I don't think age matters that much. I know some people do. Think about it. He's 27. He's doesn't really, by the way. Yeah, he's 28 now, isn't he? He doesn't really rely on pace and all that. So his age ain't a problem because he's got world-class reading of the game. He's generally, you could almost say he's in that world-class barrier bracket for DMs, and he plays for Fulham. You know, you look at all the world-class DMs around the world. You know, if you did a top 5, Palhinha might be in that top 5. You know,
he's world class for me.
He's a diamond of a DM. I've always said it. I don't know if that's what Liverpool want, because we mentioned it earlier. Does it look like Klopp wants more of a multifunctional DM at number 6, where he's a footballer? That's not really what Palhinha is. He's a destroyer. But news come out, I think, yesterday that Palhinha is available for 54 million in January. Should Liverpool came out, bite the bullet, and just go and get Palhinha from Fulham in January for 54 million?
Yeah, 100%. Look, we signed Thiago when he was 29. Okay, we've done it before. And can I give you a few things about Thiago as well, or did you want to talk about him later?
No, go. You put it all
okay, so we signed Thiago for 27 million, by the way. All right. The guy's on 10 million a year. Okay. He's cost us in total since we signed him 70 million. Okay. 168 games we could have had Thiago in the team. He's been missing for 63 of them with injury. He's missed 63 games with injury. We've had 97 games out of him, 3 goals and 6 assists. Our win ratio is 63% with him in the team. He wins 50% aerial duels. He's 83% passer. He's declined from a 90% pass ratio from Bayern Munich. This is the crazy thing about Thiago, okay? Since we've had him, 67 games, yeah, in 3 seasons. And this, I couldn't believe this stat myself. Barcelona had him for 5 seasons. Guess how many games he played? 68 games. 68 games in 5 years for Barca. Bayern Munich, 150 games in 7 years. The guy's never fit. Like, he doesn't play enough football. If you want to combine all of that, he's done less than 250 games. He's done less than 300 games in his entire career. Look, he's not played that many games. For me, he really hasn't. Like, if you're looking at that, Trent's played more.
Yeah.
Look, it's a big conversation. We signed him in 2020. For me, I think he needs to go. Like, I think he needs to go. Look, Palhinha really only broke onto the scene when he was 25, when he got a move from Porto, but he was hanging around the Porto B team for a couple of years. But he got a move to Braga, and when he got his move to Braga when he was 25, he then started to play in the Champions League, and he also ended up in the Portuguese team. So he played 32 games in his first season. He won 92%. He won 92 headers, 33 block. Actually, I'm not going to go into that for his first couple of years. So 25, 32 games, 26 years old, 27 games, 27, 35 games. This is for Fulham. I'm going to give you some of his Fulham stats. So in his first year, 35 games, 3 goals. He got 14 yellow cards. He had 1,714 touches. The guy was always on the ball. 147 tackles in his first year. I mean, that in itself is an insane amount of tackling. 83 of those he won. So he wins so many of his tackles, like nearly 80%. 71 aerial duels he won. 48 blocks. Interceptions, 43 out of 46 interceptions. Like, this guy is exactly what we need to replace Fabinho with. Exactly what we need. This year, 10 games, 2 goals, 5 yellow cards. He's obviously in the thick of it. 52 touches, 12 aerial duels won, 19 blocks already this season. Like, he's an absolute monster. 83% pass completion from a DM. 62% of his tackles won. 61% of his aerial duels won. You know, he's on 80k a week, and he's played 23 times for Portugal with 2 goals. So he pops up with goals. He doesn't get any assists, by the way. He's not an assist guy. He doesn't give away any penalties either. He likes a yellow card. That's fine. But if you look at the amount of touches and the amount of blocks and the amount of tackles that he does in games, that's the reason why. He's breaking up the play. For me, Fulham, there's no way he should have signed for Fulham. Like, he should have gone to a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or a Bayern Munich or a Juventus or a PSG. He was destined for a big team. I'm surprised Man City didn't come in for him, if I'm honest.
Do you think, and they're great stats, by the way, man. That's why I have you here. Stat man. Bullshit, that's what we need to call you now.
Don't call me stat man.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Sound like a right geek.
No, you come out with some nice facts and figures there, man. It's good to have that sort of thing. With you saying that about Palhinha, about how he didn't go anywhere else, do you reckon it was to do with his, like, where he was with his age? Because if Palhinha was 21 with them kind of stats at the clubs before, I think he might have been more alerted to the bigger teams around. Where
I think it was because
25, I think he went under the radar quite a bit.
I think it was because he was at Braga, mate.
Yeah, and scouts, because he's 25 at Braga, the scouts are like, nah, like, so he went under the radar. But Fulham saw a player there, to Fulham's credit, and went, right, how are we going to steal this guy without anyone else coming in for him? That's just madness. And
it's interesting to see who. It's interesting to see who Porto got. Like, I haven't looked at who Porto bought, but I'm assuming Porto bought someone when just before he moved to Braga, and it pushed him out. But I do know that, like, that he was in the thick of the Porto team that were going for the title, and they finished second. And something happened, and he ended up getting sold. But they sold a few of their players. Like, they're a selling team, Porto. So I don't really know the ins and outs of that. But at Fulham, he has been absolutely sensational. And there's a reason why Bayern Munich were going to spend 80 million on him. I think it was 80 million.
Yeah, between 70 and 80.
There's a reason why they were going to spend 80 million on him, because he is an absolutely sensational player. He's hardly ever injured, by the way. That shoulder injury is the biggest injury he's ever had. And it was just a shoulder injury. Like, anyone can get a shoulder injury. Like, Salah got a shoulder injury, and Salah's never injured. You know what I mean?
And this is
And
what,
Robbo.
Yeah, and this is what the interesting thing is to me about all this, because in the summer, everyone said Liverpool needed a guy. Now, obviously, Liverpool spoke to a guy and stuff like that, but I don't think Liverpool was. If they wanted him, they would have just got him because he was easy to get. It wouldn't have been a problem for me. You just go and get him. Palhinha was there as well. Same sort of transfer fee. If they wanted him, then they could have gone and got him. Liverpool knew the midfield they had to change up. They knew they had to get players in. I think Fabinho left, and they still got. Fabinho was on his way leaving. Liverpool already knew that, and they went and bought Szoboszlai. Now, we bought McAllister very early in the transfer window, and I remember, because I did shows and all that, it went very quiet for a long time. Then we heard, Henderson's off and Fabinho's off. The Fabinho deal took a while to go through, but we knew there was talks happening, and it was just a matter of time. But then Liverpool went in the transfer market and got a Szoboszlai. Then they went and got a Gravenberch, and then they ended up getting Endo just before the end of the transfer window, because they thought they needed a player there that had a bit more experience.
Was Endo before Gravenberch?
I can't remember. I think Endo was.
Endo was before Gravenberch.
Endo before Gravenberch.
I think Gravenberch was the last day, or the second to last day of the transfer window.
Because
I didn't think Gravenberch would go through in the end. Like,
that's right. Yeah, Gravenberch. Because
we got Endo before that. Yeah.
Yeah, because what that tells me is that Liverpool tried to get Andre in the summer to play in a certain position, and decide that's why they got Gravenberch so late on. So, Gravenberch was deadline day. Endo was like, I can't remember when.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
Gravenberch was definitely deadline.
Endo was like 2 weeks before.
I remember the Gravenberch thing, thinking, will we get him in? Will we get Gravenberch done before the transfer deadline day? Yeah. I remember them. So that tells me everything, that Liverpool wanted Andre to play a certain position, and that's why they left it so late to get Gravenberch through the door. It's
Can you believe we've spent 70 million on Thiago though, in total, like
It's
wages
mad,
and
mate.
transfer
It's
fee?
mad.
That's nuts.
It's
We've had 67 games out of him it was 67 games in the Premier League out of him, by the way. We've had 97 in total, like all games. Like
I've never ever been this massive Thiago stain like a lot of other Liverpool fans are.
I mean, the rumour I heard was Klopp and Pepper in a room. They were literally just in a room having a meeting, and someone mentioned that Thiago was available for like 20 million.
Yeah, Klopp couldn't believe it. That's how I remember.
And they just
that
went, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah, he's available for 20 million.
We
Like
have
he's
to
still
have
on the
him.
market."
Yeah.
And they just went, "Get him."
And to be honest, I can understand that. If you hear a player of that quality is available for 20 odd million, in his last year of his deal, then it's worth a punt.
But the question is for me, if he's not that guy on the list and he's not the one you've been doing all the tracking and you've got all your scouts and you've done all your due diligence, then you're just getting a guy. And then, oh, woe behold, he's injured. Oh, woe behold, he's
do you know what?
He's got these problems.
We spoke about it earlier. And it looks
like the last 9 games he's missed on Transfermarkt, doesn't even have an injury, mate. It just says fitness issue. That's what it says. Fitness issues. Like
it's been his whole career.
Sorry,
Look, we said this earlier. It looks like Liverpool and the transfer committee looks like they have a transfer plan now going forward. It looks like they've got their eggs in all their baskets, and they look like they know what they're doing now. They got a plan going forward. I think if the Thiago was available today in the way we're thinking now, I don't think Liverpool touch him. I think it's, the thing with Liverpool, I've been saying this for a while now, and I'll keep saying this. I don't mind turning down players that social media think are fantastic and then moan why we haven't got them. And then they go to other teams. And then when they go to other teams, you see why Liverpool didn't go for them. I remember Liverpool fans badly wanting Anthony before he went to Man United. I remember that conversation. Why ain't Liverpool going in for Anthony? Why ain't Liverpool going in for Anthony? Look what he does at Ajax. He'd be the perfect player to just play, threaten Salah for that right wing position. Then he's there for the future because he's young. And then you actually see him play properly, and he hasn't got that game. And Anthony just hasn't got that game. You see Jadon Sancho at Man United.
Do you remember that Champions League game where we did that like step over thing where he ran around the ball? Do you remember that?
Yeah. It's just like
I watched that and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you really a professional footballer?"
Freezy, that's my catchphrase, my man. It's going on a shirt. You've got to know this, Freezy. You've got to know this. And Sancho as well. Jadon Sancho is a talented footballer, but there's obviously something not quite right with Jadon Sancho's game. There's obviously not something quite right there. He's gone to Man United and it's not worked out for him. And now people will say it's just Man United, but I'd be like, I would want to be that player that can change this Man United team around. I want to be that player that, everyone watching me can see I'm doing everything in my power to make this Man United team great again. It's just that the team ain't doing it for me. But Jadon Sancho isn't that player. He hasn't got that mentality. That's why Liverpool didn't go in for him. There's ballers out there. This is the problem with football fans today. You see a lot of footballers out there are technically fantastic footballers, but have they got the attitude and the mentality to go with it at the same time? And if they haven't, you just got a bloke with a pair of legs who's good kicking a football. It's as simple as that. You need mentality and attitude, and if you haven't got it, there's no point buying these players.
Jadon Sancho reminds me of a Jordan Ibe.
Yeah, it's just
remember him. He had the world at his feet. Like
a very good footballer.
He was a very, very talented lad.
Didn't have the attitude and mentality.
Now he plays for Ebbsfleet.
I mean, to be fair, I think he went for a bit of a mental breakdown, so we will respect that. But
I mean, it looks like Sancho's going through one as well. To be fair,
yeah, it's just there's players out there that are tremendous footballers, but
he needs to go back to Dortmund.
Sancho. Yeah, Some players just don't suit, Some players just don't suit. And I'm all good waiting for the right player. Look, you look at Man United. Man United have been linked to a Griezmann, right? Because they've seen that he's got a small transfer fee, apparently. But I said something on Twitter the other day about it when this article came out, and I said Man United still haven't learnt their lesson. Then they
keep on buying oldies. They keep on buying oldies.
They still ain't learnt his lesson. Then so Griezmann's a fantastic footballer before anyone comes at me, but he's getting on in his career now, and if he goes to Man United, he's going to want a massive wage, a big wage deal, and then is he going to be able to cut it now in the Premier League for all the years of football that he's played? It's a big name commercially. It's Antoine Griezmann, but if they bought Antoine Griezmann 6 years ago, wow,
Is he still playing for Atletico, Griezmann?
I don't know.
Because he was at Barcelona, but he didn't cut it, did
he? Yeah, he went to Barcelona. It flopped.
And then went back. Did he go back to Atletico?
He likes playing where Messi plays, and wondered why he couldn't get in the team.
Play there.
Yeah, it's just won't go get in the team. And then for France now, he plays basically as a DM, don't he? So it's like he's changed his whole position up, but he's a good player, and no one's doubting his quality.
He's going to be like 500 grand a week, probably.
But it's just like you don't learn your lesson. No. Casemiro was a 1 year deal. It should have just been a 1 year deal. And then they don't look at the future. This is what you got to do. You can't just look at we need this player for now. You have to look at transfers. When you get transfers, I think you have to look at the future. Unless you're getting a player in just for a 1 year deal, just for now deal, just for this year. That's all you want you for. That's fine. But for me, you got to look at transfers you've got to have a plan in your mind where you see your club going. You got to have a plan in your mind where you see this club going and how you're going to take this journey in the next few years. And for me, that's how you should buy your players.
I see that with Liverpool. I see that with Liverpool.
I agree.
I really do. I see that with Liverpool all over the park. It's really, really promising.
And if you look at the players we've got now, I think, and maybe we're stressing out about the sixth position, but maybe Klopp's thinking, if I give Gravenberch, McAllister and Szoboszlai another 12 months to get used to everything and the way I want them to play, getting used to the surroundings, their new teammates, and I'll give them 12 months, and then next year they could cook. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a lot of us want get the DM now, we can win the Premier League. And I agree. I'm not saying it's the wrong message or anything, but I think the club and the manager especially is looking at long-term progress. Winning anything after last season's awfulness, I think the club were looking at it as thinking that might be a bit of a stretch. How bad we were last year, just to come back the following year in the Premier League, the hardest league in the world, and then win the league or something like that. So they're looking at the future progression of the football club. But the problem is the Premier League ain't actually that strong as it used to be. And Man City are not quite as good as they were last season, in my opinion. And Arsenal haven't really kicked on and progressed like they were last season. They haven't really kicked on from last season, in my opinion. And Liverpool are now second in the league, looking at it and thinking, and this is why I bring the Palhinha thing into it. Maybe Liverpool are now thinking, hang on, I have to have a change of tact here. There's a possibility Liverpool can win the Premier League this season. It's not out of the realms of possibility.
There really is.
It's not out of the realms of possibility at all.
Not at all.
And Liverpool might be thinking about it now. 52 million for Palhinha shores us up in the defensive area, lets McAllister and Szoboszlai get a bit further forward, and then gives them a bit of freedom now because they've got that DM behind them. That's only going to be better for us, and we can really push for the title. So that's what I'm saying. Liverpool might have just thought at the beginning of the season they had a different mindset. Probably go build this team in the next year or two, and then bang, that's when we're going to go. That's why the talk of Klopp signing new deals coming from. But then the way the season started, we're coming up to Christmas, and Liverpool right up there. Look, Liverpool beat Man City somehow on the weekend, which even if Liverpool get a point against Man City on the weekend, as long as Liverpool don't lose, Liverpool go look at it and think, we could be top on Christmas.
We could. And the thing about it as well, I know I know everyone's talked about like, all the Man City injuries and all of this, and maybe it was all fake or whatever, but the Haaland one was a genuine injury. They had a couple of genuine injuries, so they're coming back, which means they could not be 100% fit. Some of them might only be fit enough for the bench, but they might have some of those players back. But the interesting thing about it is, next year is a big year for us. It really is, because we'll be there or thereabouts by the end of next year. So by the end of this year, we'll be there or thereabouts, like first, second, or third. Yeah, we'll have Klopp on his last year. We'll have Salah on his last year. We'll have Matip on his last year. Then you've got the likes of, Thiago contract ending. Thiago's now rumoured to be going to Barcelona because of the Gavi injury, which makes sense. Let's get him. Yeah, let's get him. Let's get him over there. Let's can replace an injured player with an injured player. Yeah.
Do you know what will frustrate me? Yeah, this will be one thing about the Thiago situation that will frustrate me. After he's had this hip surgery, and then it was the hip that was bothering him in all these years, yeah, and he's had it done, and he leaves Liverpool and he never gets injured again.
Yeah,
that will pee me completely off, because I'll be like, hang on.
Barcelona start fucking again.
Yeah, because a fit Thiago's a player. None of us are not going to admit that. I just don't think, I'm just not that Thiago fan where everyone's like, he can't leave. I'm not that sort of player. I even said it in summer. I was one of the Liverpool content creators who said sell him.
That would be horrible if he went back to Barcelona and then just kind of went back into the Busquets role and then just did that for like 5 years.
Because the hip's done now. Because there is rumours coming out that all his injuries have been because of the hip.
Yeah.
Because once your hip is damaged...
I can read you them off. Hang on. Let me read you them off.
Yeah, once your hip's damaged, you injure everything else. I know that because I've got a bad hip.
Okay, so since we signed him... Okay, this is an interesting one, by the way. So since we signed him, he had 10 games missed with calf, 3 games coronavirus, 7 games with hip, 3 with thigh, 6 with hamstring, 10 with hip flexor problems, then 15 with hip injury, and then he's missed 9 so far this season with fitness, which I'm assuming is probably hip as well. But he never got any hip injuries at Bayern Munich, by the way. He only missed 5, 9, 10, 11. Only missed 11 games for Bayern, by the way. And a mixture of 7, which were between Bayern. Oh, hang on. He has missed more for Bayern. What am I talking about? Oh, God, he's missed loads for Bayern. What am I talking about? Yeah, he's missed loads for Bayern.
Yeah, he did miss that. But
he's missed like 37 games with a knee medial tear in 2014 for Bayern, and 27 with another knee medial tear.
I'll bet they're all the same leg.
Yeah, but they're all the same leg.
It's the hip.
Anyway, most of his hip injuries are with us.
Yeah, I can talk about it because I've got a bad hip. So my hip bone it's not in its socket, right? And then I've got a build up of acid around it. So I'm in a lot of pain when I lay down. It hurts like hell, right? And because of that, my ankle's not in the right position and my knee's not in the right position. So I walk like Pingu, right? Everyone knows
I do as well. 2.75 feet, Charlie Chaplin feet.
And that's all because of my hip. I need the hip sorted. Once the hip's sorted, my knee will be sorted, my ankle will be sorted, my foot will be sorted. My putting my foot down, walking, putting my foot down, the pain goes all right in my leg, into my hip, and then into my back because it's not sitting properly. And I've got like fluid all around it. It's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare for me. Pain every night.
I got collapsed arches when I was in the army.
Yeah,
that's to wear like insoles.
So you got no bounce when you walk. You got no bounce when you walk.
Yeah.
So, and when you got that hip, the injuries you can get from it. So this is the thing I'm saying, and maybe this is why Klopp's thinking he wants to give him a 1-year extension, because Klopp might be thinking now he's had this hip done. They did the surgery. They've been knocking this. Apparently, he should have had this surgery 2 years ago. They've been knocking it back. Now he's had the surgery, and let's be fair, we don't miss him at the moment, do we? But if he comes back and he can stay fit, and he continuously stays fit, and he proves his fitness constantly, because the hip's done there and he's not getting any other injuries, and he is a talented footballer, would you give him a new deal?
No.
We'd still let him go.
I mean, we've lost 20 games with him in the team, by the way, and drew 15. So the record with him and without him isn't fantastic. You know, for me, we've got Curtis Jones. I mean, Curtis Jones is a pound for pound better passer right now. I know that's crazy, but
He'll go
he just is. Like, he's a 32-year-old. Like, he's unreliable. Like, it's his body. It's his body more than his talent. And
I agree.
Can't be having passengers at Liverpool. We've had too many passengers. Like, the crazy thing about it is, we got rid of Keita and Ox, and we were really happy about it because they were always injured. We've now got Thiago and Bajcetic, who were always injured. So it's like we've just replaced 2 with another 2. So yeah, if we can get him off the books, I mean, he's costing us 200k a week. Like, I'm not.
I'm with you.
I'm not paying. He's one of the highest paid players.
As everyone in my chat right now, and remember this, in the summer, I said sell Thiago, let Thiago go in the summer. I constantly said it, and I kept getting bombs.
I think we tried. I do think we tried. Seriously, I just think he turned down the Saudi Arabian clubs.
I'm not.
The interesting thing about it is, I mean, I mentioned it went up in the chat, by the way. It blew up in the chat when I said it. We've got all of those contracts that are up for renewal.
Yeah,
I do think next year, Klopp signs a new one, Salah signs a new one, and Matip signs a new one. I just
Virgil. I think Virgil signs a new deal.
Virgil's due one as well.
Virgil and Salah's contract runs out in 2025.
It makes sense that we get all of those contracts. That I know Trent's got one as well.
No one's talking about it, but Trent runs out in 2025 as well.
I know
I think they're not talking about it because Trent's obviously going to sign. I think that's why. I don't think Trent's going anywhere personally. I think he resigns, but I think Virgil.
Mate,
captain, he resigns.
I don't want to put it out there really, but I wouldn't be surprised if Real Madrid came knocking for Trent.
Well, there was this 80 million pound apparent offer that they were going to make for him, weren't they, in the summer with a year left in his deal? I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised, mate. Honestly,
even though Trent's a scout and he loves Liverpool, it's very hard to turn Real Madrid down.
He's really close with as well now.
Yeah, Jude.
Yep. Like, I mean, like they go to concerts in foreign countries together.
They go to brothels.
But he is close to Virgil van Dijk as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, he does a lot of stuff with him as well.
I literally think if Trent's agent told him Real Madrid want you got a year left on your deal, they actually want you. I think Trent has to really seriously think about it, and I think he would as well. Trent obviously is a scouser, and the only team he ever wants to play for is Liverpool Football Club. He said that many times. But the difference is, if Real Madrid comes along, then I don't care who you are as a player and who you support as a player or whoever your love is and where you're from. It's very hard to turn down Real Madrid.
The thing about Trent now is Trent's a businessman. Like, he's got his own companies.
All footballers are really.
He's got a lot of businesses, and he's also starting this. He started it now, hasn't he? This new organization, the foundation, which helps players who come out of football early, I think it is, to become entrepreneurs, which I think is amazing. Like, it's an amazing foundation. If you can double your wages and play for Real Madrid, then you have to be looking at that, because we're not going to give him what Salah's on.
No,
the most he'll get for us is 200, 250.
I think Trent takes that, to be fair, but
and who does he replace at Real? It's Carval, isn't it? Carval's been with them for like 10 years.
He's replacing Carvajal. I mean,
seriously, like I don't want to say it, but he He is a perfect replacement for him.
It is one. I think that's why Liverpool need to get these done, really. Big up Michael Ramsey said, thank you for Super Chat. Said Liverpool need a Trent replacement more than a 6. Big up Michael Ramsey. Appreciate your love, man. I don't know about that, but I appreciate your love. Look, I just want to talk about a few players. So Virgil van Dijk, captain of the football club now. Me and K-Mac spoke about this now. He looks like a leader on the pitch. He looks like he's taking that responsibility. For me, he's the best centre-back in the league right now.
For me, he's the best centre-back in the world.
He looks fantastic right now. And did you see that sliding tackle against Ireland the other day?
Oh man,
last year. He wouldn't have won that ball.
He's just full on now, isn't he?
He wouldn't have won that ball.
He's in tune with his body again, isn't he?
Well, he said in the national duty, I don't think about my knee anymore. I think I can do anything.
I love the talking as well. I love the fact that he's doing interviews and he's saying, and he even said, didn't he? Look, I had a really shit season last season. He came out and said it.
Yeah, because he said he didn't trust his knee.
Admits it.
And it's like James says there. He has his glow back. He does. The aura's back. I think he'll sign a new deal because he's just been made captain in this football club. I don't think Virgil wants to leave. I don't think he's looking to leave. I think he
Where's
sees.
He go? Where does he go?
I mean,
where's he go?
You have to look up, don't you? Now, Virgil's not going to look down if he wants to leave Liverpool. So if you look in the league, go up. You're looking at Bayern Munich, maybe a Bayern Munich level of Liverpool, a Barcelona, a Real Madrid, or you go to PSG for the money. That'd be the clubs. Otherwise, you're going down, and I don't think he's ready for that in his career, even at 33 yet. So I think he signs a new deal.
Where did he come from? Did he come from Ajax in the end, or was it PSG?
No, he came from Groningen, is it?
Oh, was it? Okay.
He's not. Yeah.
Okay, he's staying at us for a full.
I think if Virgil signs a new deal, he retires at Liverpool. Yeah. He's 33 now.
I think he could. I think he could do he could do a Carragher and retire at Liverpool.
Yeah, I think if he signs that new deal,
I think he's the type of player as well that could be like a Thiago Silva, where he plays till he's like 38, 39. I do. Yeah. I think he's got all of the attributes, and he's also the type of player that could kind of tailor his game to be able to cope with that.
So I think Virgil signs a new deal comfortably. Thank God Alisson signed his one last year.
He's like 30, 31, 32 for us now.
Oh, Virgil?
Yeah,
31. Virgil's 33.
Is he 33?
Yeah.
Blimey.
And that's what I'm saying. He's not deteriorating like we all thought he was. He was just going for a moment because he had to see. I think we all forget how serious his injury was.
Could have ended his career.
He got his injury. He had that serious injury at 30.
Could have ended his career, that.
At 30. And he's come back. He ain't really deteriorated. He's only getting better now. The man, he's 32 at the moment. I think he's 33 before the end of the season, I believe. But the man got his pace back at 32. It's mad. And apart from that bad injury, he's not really had anything at the club, has he? That's that bad.
No, nothing at all. He got a hamstring because he probably got overplayed.
That's what he says. That's why he got it. He overplayed after his injury. But so Virgil for me signs. I think I've been saying for a long time now that I think Jurgen Klopp will sign a new deal. Oh, was it July's birthday? Big up, James. So he'll be 33 by the time next season starts. I think Klopp will sign a new deal. I think Klopp will be here over 10 years. I think you're looking at Klopp as being a 12 to 13 year manager at this football club. I think Klopp has got his hunger back and he sees the way the club is going right now. And I don't think Klopp is ready to leave that. I really don't. I think Klopp might extend. And then the big one, Mo Salah. Now, a lot of people think Mo's off. This is Mo's last season. He's off in the summer. He's going to Saudi Arabia. I just think it's a weird way of doing it. Personally, for me, this summer would have been the perfect summer for Mo to leave. 2 years left in his deal. Liverpool are not in the Champions League. They've got to go for a rebuild. Do you want to hang around with all that? Do you want to play Europa League football? Do you want to play part of a rebuild where you probably might not win anything this season? Might not get back in the Champions League. This is all before the season kicked off. This this would be going through his head. Do I want to play in 2 years in Europa League? Arsenal building again, City are going again. United are going to spend money. Chelsea is spending $1 billion. So for me, if you think about it like that, Mo leaving this summer, the last summer just gone, would have been a perfect time for Mo to leave, in my opinion. The fact he wanted to stay to get Liverpool, in his words, to get Liverpool back in the Champions League, back to winning titles and the big moments and the big games again. Why would he leave next summer getting Liverpool back into the places that he wants to play? Because if he goes to Saudi, he ain't playing Champions League football, is he? So that makes sense.
You really think Mo wants to play in front of 800 people?
No.
like I think Mo got advised by the right people about that move.
I think his agent's better than we give him credit for.
Yeah, I think his agent is a hell of a lot better than we think he is. I think his agent may well have had loads and loads of people contact him, but then he's obviously checked into it and gone, Mo, do you really want to play? You really want to play against a couple of thousand fans? Like,
I think Mo's agent wants him to stay at Liverpool. Personally, I think Mo's agent wants him to stay.
I think Mo has done absolutely everything possible to keep himself as fit and as in shape as he can, and I don't see any reason why, if Mo stayed at Liverpool for another 5 years, that he couldn't start looking at Ian Rush's record. I'm not joking you.
No, I agree.
Because he doesn't have to do any better. He just has to do what he does.
Look, I think he's 16 goals away from being, is it top 5?
Yeah.
Something like that, or 26 goals away from being top 5 Liverpool goal scorers of all time.
I think he's only like a season away, like a season's worth of goals away.
He's 16 behind. Most had 16 goals behind Robbie Fowler, guys. It's nuts. Have a look.
And then he's got Billy Liddell, and then Billy Liddell's after that, I think.
Get his stats up, K-Mac. He's goals, all the Liverpool goal scorers, the top 10. So I know he's just hit the top 10 for Liverpool, ain't he? I know he's just hit the top 10 when I do some chats here. You're in with the super sticker. Big up to you, my friend. Much love as always. Yeah, so the rumours on Mo's on $1 million a week. If you go with sponsorships and bonuses, he probably is. So he's not getting that from the club as a basic salary. He gets 350 grand a week basic salary. But if you put in what Mo earns through sponsorships, merchandise that he does himself, his face on everything, he probably does bring home that.
He's actually in the top 5.
Yeah, it's mad, ain't it? It's mad.
Okay, so he scored 198 goals, and actually scored more now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he scored 200 now, isn't he?
He scored 200 now, so it's 200 goals.
He scored 198 with Liverpool and 2 for Chelsea.
That's right.
Yeah.
198, it's 100, right. 198 in 322 games. The next player above him is Billy Liddell, who I said. 228 goals in 534 games. Let's just put that into perspective. 534 games. Mo's played 322. Honestly, like the numbers that Mo was hitting were the type of numbers that Fowler was hitting. 183 goals in 369 games. Okay, they're incredible numbers. Mo is just off the chart, and he's not slowing down. He's really not slowing down. So you've got Billy Liddell, 228. Then you've got Gordon Hodgson, 241. Then Roger Hunt, 285. And then Ian Rush, 346. But Ian Rush played 660 games. So if you got Mo for another 5 years, that's another, 40 games every season with 20 goals. You're going to get close. I'm just saying, you're going to get close. And Mo doesn't need to do more. He just needs to do what he does, 20 goals every season, there or thereabouts.
And what Aaron says here, he's a winger.
It's amazing. He's is a winger.
Striker.
He is a winger.
Do we, because people keep going on about, I see a lot of people's teams of the seasons so far this year. The one that always stands out is Don Robbie's from AFTV, where he had Saka as the right winger spot. Do we just
I don't think
underestimate?
Saka's played that well this season, by the way.
No, I don't think he has.
He's burnt out.
Do we just really underrate Salah?
I think a lot of people underrate Salah. I don't.
His numbers are ridiculous, and he's not a stat padder either. He does it against everyone he plays.
Team.
His record. What's his record against the Big Six? Only like 60 GA against the Big Six or something like that.
Let me tell you that. Hang on.
No, the top six. He turns up, man. He's different. And the thing with Mo's got the ability to be a number 10 as well, because he's got that assist in his locker.
44 goals GA against the big six. They're just goals.
44 goals. Yeah, I think it's 60 odd. Yeah, GA then. 44
the person behind him is Harry Kane with 6 goals fewer.
40
and Harry Kane was incredible against the top 6.
44 goals against the top 6. This man don't get the love he deserves. He really don't. I've said it all season. For me, at this moment, Mbappe, Harry Kane, Salah, and Haaland are the 4 best players in the world now.
Do you want to know another funny stat about Mo? This isn't goals. Mo's had more yellow cards. So Mo's had 4 yellow cards. I think he's only had like 6 yellow cards in his Premier League career.
All for taking his shirt off, isn't it?
Against Man United.
Yeah, all for taking his shirt off. Mo's a player, man. Mo's clutch.
He's insane.
This is what I keep saying about this Premier League season. Mo, City and Liverpool have something no one else has, in my opinion. They have them clutch players in Hazard and Salah that can win a game when they're playing badly. You know, I'm yet to see Saka and Martinelli have really bad games and still win a game for Arsenal. They sort of play on top. Haaland and Salah can have dreadful 89-minute games, and all of a sudden they get the winners. The Haaland, that's the difference. Haaland and Salah for Liverpool and City have the two clutch players in the Premier League right now, without a shadow of doubt. And that's why I think Liverpool will run City very close this season. I really do. But Salah needs to sign a deal. Now, the rumour is Salah wants to sign an extra 1-year extension to what he's already got, which gives him another 2 years. I've no idea if that will up his wages or it's just a year added onto his contract. But I think we're all here for it, ain't we? I don't think there's 3 players that would struggle to replace very quickly in this team, and that's Allister, Van Dijk, and Mo Salah. And they're the ones for me that I think this team you still need. And I look at the owners. The owners were very happy to give a 29-year-old going on 30 a 350 grand a week contract. You know, when we always say our owners don't want these old players around, Milner stayed around for a long time. We signed Milner at 30, for goodness sake.
I know.
So I think it's a bit of a
Milner
myth.
Didn't let us down either, by the way.
No, I think it's a bit of a myth, that. Oh, did I refer to... I meant Haaland, yeah, not Hazard. Hazard ain't clutch. Yeah, Haaland. That's who I meant. Yeah, Haaland for City, Salah for Liverpool. They're the ones that, yeah, they're clutch, man. They're the only two. Only two. For me, I think there's only a few genuine world-class, and I mean world-class as outfield players, because obviously Allister's world-class. But for outfield players, I don't think there's generally that many world-class players in the Premier League as outfield players. And I think Salah and Haaland are definitely 2 of them. And that's something Arsenal haven't got. And that's why I do feel Liverpool challenge this year, in my opinion. But guys,
big up everyone. Arsenal have got anyone world class, by the way.
No, they got potential. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, Rice could eventually become world class.
So William Saliba and Rice, I think, are the 2, ain't it? They got miles potential to be world class, but not yet.
Yeah, Saliba could be special.
So a few things before we finish. Wino says if Bajcetic is good enough is Bajcetic good enough to help us to win trophies now? If not, that's a bad deal. Mortgaging more seasons. What do you think, K-Mac?
I don't know about Stefan. I think Stefan probably needs to just get fit and maybe get a loan, if I'm honest. Like I personally think we broke him because we played him too young. Like and he's also got growing injuries, which are an issue. So he just needs to be managed properly. Like I think right now he's got an Achilles or a hamstring. Might be an Achilles or a hamstring that he got. But don't expect anything from that kid. He's like what, 19? Like
right, here's another thing I've just read. So a lot of people saying about Andre, we're not getting Andre because FSG don't want to pay the price. Well, apparently Fulham are talking a transfer deal right now for Andre for Fluminense for 27 million.
that sounded like the price that we got quoted in the first place.
27 million. So it's got nothing to do with finances.
I'll tell you what, if Fulham sign him to replace Palhinha and we go and get Palhinha, then I'm an happy champion.
Yeah. It just shows that it weren't anything to do with financial. It was just that Liverpool moved on. That's all they did. They moved on. They didn't hang around. Yeah, the Stefan thing, Klopp rates him massively. I'm with Wino Low. I do like the fact you have to look to the future, and I'm happy with that. If he's the future, then keep him at the club. But we do need someone for now. And I think we all agree with it, but I don't know if the club see it like that. That's the only issue. Max says, hey, Jamie, have you heard the big news today about loaning players from associated clubs? It's a bad news. Let's talk about that quickly, K-Mac. So I might do a show on this later in the week, but let's talk about it now. So Premier League will allow Newcastle to loan Saudi stars as a plot to block related party loans fails after hours of talks at a top hotel with Everton deduction and Man City charges. Hot on the topics. A shareholder meeting was held with a 5-star review. I don't know why to tell us it's a 5-star hotel. We don't think they're in a Premier Inn. Like, yeah, because these guys are really in a Premier Inn, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Premier League chief spent hours discussing the numbers of continuous issues. It's a world against Everton, as Everton say it can galvanise players to stay up. What do you think on this, man? What do you think on this? Should it be allowed? Should cross-party ownership be allowed in football?
No, because that's just another form of cheating for me. It just is. It's just cutting corners. It's just bending the rules. Like, can't we just have can't clubs just like stick to the rules and be fair and, like, you know, spend what they have and sign who they can sign. You know, it's just I'm fed up of all of this like underhanded tactics shit. Pardon my French. Like, it's bad enough with Man City and Chelsea. Newcastle are doing it. Like, Wolves did it. Do you remember Wolves were signing all those players from Portugal and Spain because they had and Udinese. They were signing players from Udinese. Do you remember? Because their owners owned Udinese. Like, just pack it in. Like, that's the reason why Wolves got promoted from the Championship, because they had a load of Serie A players in their team.
Yeah, because they had that cross promotion. I think Brighton. There's a lot of clubs that have it actually. Like, I think Brighton, Tony Bloom owns a percentage of that Union team we play in Europa League.
Yeah, Union.
He owns a percentage of them. So, but the difference is they're not looking to really do deals between each other's clubs. Now, obviously, this all started with the Red Bull clubs, and that sort of like a franchise more on clubs. Really, it's weird, but I don't know. When you look at it, because a lot of people are very suspicious all the time, and I'm not saying this is the case, but Newcastle needed to spend money to stop FFP, so they managed to sell a lot of their players to Saudi. You know, for
I think Newcastle. I think Newcastle helped Chelsea out of their FFP issues.
Yeah,
by signing that Hall guy for 30 odd million. Seriously, I think that's underhanded. By the way, I think that was a PIV thing, like getting Chelsea out of the shit. Like, look into that seriously. But they signed that youngster from Chelsea, who I was really surprised he got sold because he's a really good player. But he went for like 35 million or something like that. But I felt that was getting Chelsea out of the crap because they signed Lavia and Caicedo because he went after them.
See, I don't mind. I agree, and I don't mind clubs having So back in the day, Liverpool used to have it's called nursery clubs, wasn't it? Where Liverpool had a joint thing with Auxerre in France. You know, where they would loan back and forth youth players and stuff like that. I don't mind that. Like, you go somewhere, like you got a club where you can.
Well, you mean like an affiliate on a feeder club?
Yeah, a feeder
That's
club.
different, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't mind that because your youth players are going there to get experience and stuff like that. And then if they got, but this part owing things where you can have an ownership of Newcastle United, and then the country that owns Newcastle United have their own league where they've just got no FFP rules, and they can just go back and forward like it's wrong because it stops FFP as well, and it's. I think they need to clamp down on it personally, but everyone agreed on it. So Premier League agreed on it. So let them do.
It wasn't everyone, by the way.
No, it's 13, and you know what main ones agreed on it as well, don't you?
Yeah.
All the ones that have party ownerships.
I bet you we didn't. I bet you we didn't.
No, we didn't. No, it's all the clubs that have part ownerships. All the clubs that have part ownerships agreed on it. I know Brighton agreed on it.
So how is that fair?
Yeah,
all the clubs that benefit from it voted for it. That doesn't make any sense. So basically, there was more clubs in the Premier League that benefit from it, so that's why it went through. How on earth is that fair?
Yeah, but it's mad, and it's going.
That is mad. That for me is ridiculous. Isn't there an investigation going on into Tottenham as well, by the way, over Defoe?
So before I went live, there's a potential that Tottenham are going to get points deducted.
Yeah, because of Defoe, the Defoe transfer.
Because of the Defoe transfer. I mean, how far back are they going?
I mean, this is old. I mean, this is the thing about it. If they're gonna start digging in into things like that, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more clubs popping up. Seriously, won't be us though. We're squeaky. Seriously.
Well, I mean, look at the way we pay things. Our wages are low. Our transfer fees are low. We don't really like paying agent fees. It's like, but it's the problem with the Premier League right now. They've opened up a can of worms, and they've opened Pandora's box, because the more times they keep going for Tottenham now on the Defoe transfer, which was like 10 years ago, and deduct points from Tottenham for a transfer that happened 10 years ago, deduct points from Everton when they're trying to build a new stadium and they were only £9 million over the threshold or something like that, and they got deducted 10 points. Look, they broke the rules, but they weren't over. And then you've got a team that's got 115 charges.
I know.
And they're just allowed to play. That's when everyone's going to start angry.
That's the lawyers, mate.
Are you going to look at them or not? If you're not going to look at them, just...
If you fight it in the courts, you hold it off. I would honestly say Chelsea and Man City, none of this is happening right now because they are still in court.
Yeah, they just keep
Everton couldn't afford the lawyers.
Keep putting paperwork down constantly, and they just have to keep
Everton delaying. They're just kicking the can down the road. It will happen. It will happen. Something will happen eventually. They just keep on kicking the can down the road. But the thing about the Everton thing is, I think there's a lot of clubs that complained about Everton, and they just couldn't do anything about it.
The complaint Everton came up about 2 years ago. I remember
clubs got relegated.
Everyone was saying they've opened Pandora's box, and they're going to be looking at everyone. Trey Kismet says, I'm playing Endo versus City as a DM just to have a figure in front of the fence. It must and Endo can pass as well rather than a makeshift DM.
It won't be.
Obviously, I'm going to do my City preview on Friday because that's when Klopp does his press conference. So we'll watch the press conference, do our preview from there. But one thing everyone says about Endo, which I think we all agree with, he's actually a good player on the ball.
Yeah,
he's actually a decent passer, and he always, every time I've watched him, I've noticed it now. He's always passing forward. He's always looking the path forward, and that is something Klopp wants. That's why McAllister plays DM. You know, that's why McAllister unfortunately gives away the ball quite a bit because he's asked to just progress, pass the ball forward. And Endo does that actually reasonably well. We've got a thing about grand jewels at this club all of a sudden. I've never noticed our fan base care about grand jewels ever in the entirety of football. But all of a sudden, because Endo didn't win a grand jewel, everyone's bringing it up now. I've never heard the fan base ever talk about grand jewels ever. I never anyone remember talking about Fabinho's grand jewels. I'm sure there was games Fabinho didn't have any grand jewels. No one ever spoke about it, but all of a sudden, grand jewels is now a most popular thing in football fan base for some reason. And
I don't care if he fouls, if he doesn't win any ground jewels, but he fouls their players and doesn't get
and
yellow
stops
cards.
Them attacking, that is the point of being a DM. Yeah, Rodri does it all the time.
Fine with that.
It's just, I actually think he gave us a bit more balance in the midfield against Brentford. I ain't gonna lie. I thought he gave us more.
I'm just looking at the chat, by the way. I actually think the ref might be a decent ref we've got for once. By the way,
I don't even know who the ref is.
We haven't got Tierney. We haven't got Brooks.
Is it Kavanagh?
We haven't got Oliver. We haven't got who's that other?
I think the problem with Kavanagh is he's from Greater Manchester, ain't he? That's the problem. Everton didn't break any rules. There's a threshold in terms of sustainability, and every team agrees. And Everton made some bad choices, resulting in more losses. Yeah, but because they made the losses, Rock, they broke the rules. That's how the Premier League see it, my friend. Because they did make them losses, they broke the rules.
They also should have got 16 points, I think.
Yeah, I think they'll appeal it and they get less, but I think they're still going to get a deduction in points.
I think they're gonna have to just take the 10.
Yeah,
it makes sense that they do because they'll probably survive this year. But if they'd have had 10 last year, they wouldn't have survived.
That's why they did it this year.
Yeah, it just makes sense. There's so many crap teams. Just never going to get any higher.
Sheffield United and Burnley are gone, as far as I can see. Gone. And then it's between Luton, Everton, and Bournemouth. That's the others. Luton might get some dodgy results at home, like they did against us, against some teams that might keep them up. But yeah, I think Bournemouth will get down there as well. I think Bournemouth might get caught in that. One thing I want to talk about just before we go is Curtis Jones. Now, I see people with agendas against Curtis Jones quite a lot, especially on Twitter, where they make up stats that no one cares about just to throw that Curtis Jones. Like, there was a stat the other day, out of all the midfielders in the Premier League, like 200 odd midfielders in the Premier League, only 2 have had 0 chances created this season, and Curtis Jones is one of them. It was a stat someone went and found that no one cares about just to keep their agenda against Curtis Jones. What I don't understand with these agendas against Curtis Jones is why can't they see at the moment?
2 seconds, mate. Just got to get the door.
Yeah, no worries. What I don't understand with people at the moment is why can't people see that Curtis Jones gives us good balance in midfield, guys? Now, I'm not saying Curtis Jones is a superstar player or anything like that, but you go with the players that balance your team, that give your team balance and helps you win games of football. And we can't sit here and pretend that Curtis Jones has been decent this season when he's played, and he was very good last season when he was playing, and he brought a balance to our midfield. Has Szoboszlai been as good without Curtis Jones in the midfield? No, because Curtis Jones will sit back a little bit more and let Szoboszlai play. I don't get this agenda with him. I don't get the agenda with Curtis Jones. We are all like, I was like, I'm not sure on Curtis Jones. I don't know if he's actually that Liverpool player. I don't know if he's that good. Then Klopp gave him a run in the team last season. And when he had a run in the team, he had 10, 11, 12 games in a row And I was like, I've got it now. He's actually a decent footballer. He does give us balance in the midfield. His problem was he never got a run of games. And none of us are sitting here saying he's exceptional, he's a super talent, he's the next this, next that. And we're not saying that. He gives us nice balance in the midfield. He's good on the ball. He's good under the press. He's good at winning the ball back in defensive areas as well. He puts a shift in. He gives balance in that midfield. I think Szoboszlai plays better when he's playing with Curtis Jones in midfield. I don't know why there's agendas still going, K-Mac.
So, Angel 1984, I think, wrote a really good. 1968 wrote a really good comment. We've lost one game in 21 playing the inverted. Curtis Jones has played pretty much all of those games. Since Curtis Jones has come into the team, he's been an absolute revelation. His passing completion is like 93%. Never gives the ball away. He hasn't made any mistakes. He's really functional. He's scored a couple of goals. He's got a few assists. For me, he is a standout performer in midfield under Klopp since we've been doing the inverted role. And when he plays in midfield, Dominic Szoboszlai looks like a completely different player because he's got the freedom to be able to express himself because he knows Curtis is going to sit there. Curtis just knows how to play in a Klopp midfield now. And he's had it drilled into him so much. And
Curtis pushes out wide as well, which helps the team as well.
And it helps the team as well. He gives it width as well. He's just a really good player all round. Like, he really is. Like just look at him for the England under-21s. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Curtis goes to the Euros. I really wouldn't be surprised if Curtis got into the Euro team.
I'm shocked that Cole Palmer got a call up for Curtis Jones, to be fair. But
I can't believe Phillips is still playing.
Curtis Jones is a decent player, man. And what he's doing there, look, people say he keeps the ball too long sometimes. I've always said that's what Liverpool need sometimes. They need a midfielder to hold onto the ball just to slow things down at times. There's nothing wrong with that. He defends well. He knows. I think Curtis Jones has got quite good football intelligence, good IQ for the game. And he knows when
as well. Like he wins a lot of duels.
Unlike Elliott, he's strong in that midfield. He's robust.
He wins ground duels.
Yeah, he wins ground duels, exactly. And look, none of us are sitting here saying he's the next whatever and what does he do and all this. It's the balance he gives to the midfield.
He's younger than Dominic Szoboszlai. All right, give him a break. He's only 22. He's only just turned it.
And he's clever. He will sit back when he needs to sit back. That's why Szoboszlai always looks better when Curtis plays because I've got Curtis is on that left-hand side, so I know he's going to keep his men busy over there. And he's going, if I get forward now, I know Curtis ain't going to be right next to me because he's going to be sitting back along with Mac. We're going to be in a nice structure. I can get forward more. It's a great option to have, either on the bench or when he plays. The agenda needs to stop. People need to stop finding stats to downplay his game. His game is not about what these stats they keep finding about. It's about the balance he brings to the football team. And
he gives us so much balance. Like when he's in the team, we just look a better team. We just do in the middle of the park.
Like Aaron says, the only issue is his injuries. I agree. Klopp has turned when I agree.
Yeah,
that's the 100%. Comment. If you look at the way Jones plays and Gini Wijnaldum plays, very similar. Very, very similar.
And what's really interesting as well, what's really interesting about that, he's just like Gini. He could score a lot more goals and he could get a lot more assists because he is an attacking player. But he's done the same with Jones to Gini.
Yeah, but what was the excuse Liverpool fans used to get when Gini played? What does he do? What does he do? And now when Gini left, we're like,
we miss him so much.
Yeah. So it's so for a whole Gini. That's why Gini. By the way, guys, that's why Gini Wijnaldum left Liverpool because he was sick of Liverpool fans on social media telling him what does he do and he's a waste of time and space. Wijnaldum spoke about this many times. That's why he didn't agree to a new deal. It weren't really the money because we offered him not much less than what he got when he went to Barca. So it weren't really anything to do
PSG.
money, all right. It was more of the issue that he didn't feel loved. He didn't feel like he belonged because people kept saying every week on social media that what does Gini Wijnaldum do? What does he do? What's he good at? And now he's left. All I see Liverpool fans going, "Oh, we miss a Gini. We need a Gini type again." And that's what Curtis is right now. It's madness. We've got to stop going what the players do. It's a madness to me. But yeah, Gory, Elliott performances were very good for England. Got to admit, lad's got a great mentality. Yeah, he has, man. Because he gets a lot of "you're not good enough" from me. Also, him and Curtis are winning people over. Exactly. I will say I think Curtis is he's a more mature footballer than Harvey right now. And what Curtis has got as well, he's got more size and bulk to him than Harvey has. The thing that lets Harvey down is not actually his skill set or his technique or his football IQ or what he's got. It's actually his genetics. That's Harvey's issue. It's not actually his football ability or anything like that, because we've all seen it. When Harvey's a good footballer. He's good on the ball. He can get goals. He can run at opposition. He can play. He can pass. He can defend. He can do everything he needs to do. We've seen it many times this season when he comes on. A lot of Liverpool fans are giving him that credit. His issue is just his genetics. He hasn't got that genetic makeup to make him the midfielder he probably should be, and that's unfortunate for him. But Curtis has, and that's why he plays more. But there ain't much difference between the two of them.
You think about Elliott as well, because Elliott's actually bulked out and he's stronger. You can tell he's come back a lot stronger, but he's just a short arse.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's going to get bounced off the ball a lot in that position, and it's not his fault. Like, he's a very talented. I mean, for me, Elliott is a 25-minute finisher in a game. Bring him on; he'll do a fantastic job. If we can play him all season like that and win the league and get a cup, and he is a guy that closes games. He's 20 years old. Like, that's amazing to have a player that can do that at the age of 20.
Harvey just needs to mature a little bit, and that will happen with Harvey. Curtis is just a bit more mature in the football field than he is. When I watch Curtis play, he don't look like a young player to me.
No,
he looks like a seasoned.
He didn't look like a young player when he was 18, mate.
No, he looked like a seasoned footballer. And
he was real talent.
When Harvey plays, although I think he's a decent footballer, a very good footballer, he still looks like an immature footballer.
Yeah,
that's the difference, and that come in Harvey's game. Look, he might need to stop hanging around with Darwin Núñez a bit. That's just all. You see on international jury. Yeah, well, Harvey, when he got in that bloke's face and he did the Darwin, he's like, and then Salah did it as well, and Salah never does it. Darwin's having an effect, man.
He is having an effect.
But guys,
and good on it.
Did you see the grief Curtis got on that Liverpool podcast as well?
No.
Oh, so have you gone to Liverpool channel? Liverpool do their own podcast and stuff like that. Well, they did one with Curtis this week, and Curtis talks very well about himself. Curtis is a very positive person, and he bigs himself up, and I don't see nothing wrong with that person.
I like that.
Right? But people in the comments underneath, "Oh, Curtis is talking like he's the main man" and stuff like that. It's like, get over it, guys. He is the main man, because when he's fit, Curtis plays.
He plays.
So let's leave it be, man.
Look. We have to understand. Like, Curtis came into the team when he was 18. Liverpool were title challengers when he was in the team. Like, that was the era when we either won the title, won a cup, got to finals. Curtis was there or thereabout. Like, you are there in a Liverpool team with that many good players on merit. You're not there by chance. You're in there because you're good enough. Like, and you have to back yourself. And Curtis backs himself. Like, he's had a few bad injuries. Like, he got poked in the eye by Henderson and missed half a season by the looks of it, and got COVID. Like, it looks like a lot of that is down to those kind of injuries, like really freaky ones. But this guy is the real deal. Like, he scored the winner in the Euro Euro under-21 final. I know he came off his backside, but he still scored the winner, and that's the first time they've ever won, like the Euros. Like he's the real deal. Like get used to it. He's gonna play for Liverpool for a long time, and I think he will go the Euros. I think he will go the Euros.
He might sneak in there, man.
Should get called up soon.
But guys, we're going to leave that there. Thank you very much for joining myself and K-Mac this afternoon. We appreciate it.
I'm a guys, Jones is sexual.
Guys, I will be back on Friday with the match preview for Man City. I'll be back around 12 o'clock Friday afternoon, guys, because that's what time Jurgen Klopp's press conference goes ahead. So we'll watch it live on the channel, guys, and then we'll talk about that after it. And then we will do the preview for the game, pick the 11 and all that stuff. Then I'll be back after that. We're on Saturday afternoon. I'll be back with a match reaction to that. I'll get some of the boys on for that match reaction. And that's the weekend, guys. So make sure you're hitting the like. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe. Don't forget to go and subscribe to K-Mac's channel as well. Go and show him some love over there. Guys, thank you very much for joining me and K-Mac this afternoon. We do appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you Friday afternoon.